former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. Nina, you know these arguments. You also know the reality. Happy New Year to you, my friend. I haven't seen you since. What is your concern when Donald Trump wipes the slate clean of any focus on DEI? Oh, can you turn Nina on?
Sorry about that. My concern is that this president doesn't have a clue about the madness that he is about to create. And even the congressman, I mean, the fact that he's going to use a basketball analogy, how many black folks get a chance to make it to the NBA to be able to give so-called legacy to their sons? Black people as a group still have the lowest level of wealth of any other group in the United States of America. That's not by accident, Chris. That is on purpose. That comes from another type of legacy, a legacy of enslavement, a legacy of Jim Crow, a legacy of redlining, a legacy of a country that is predisposed to think that if you are black, somehow you are less than. That has to be corrected in an affirmative way, in the way that it was crafted policy-wise to hold black folks back. Let's look at the Homestead Act of 1862 by way of example. So white folks could get about heads of households, 160 acres of land, not just citizens or intended citizens, Chris. That was not black folks. That wasn't Native American folks. Was that merit? That was not merit. So there is a historic fix that must happen, and affirmative action, that's been the action throughout the history of this country, and it's been for wealthy white men. I didn't see folks jumping up and down about that. So to correct a wrong, that is really what should be cemented here, particularly for those who are descendants of enslaved people.
So how do you do it and embrace the Supreme Court standard of not allowing race to be an isolated and measured value in making a determination about somebody?
Well, the Supreme Court was wrong. And that's where you got to have a Congress with courage that is willing to make crooked paths straight. And just as we celebrated the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., let me add that as Reverend King analyzed what was happening to black people in this country, he talked about the fact that this country was going to have to do extra correction for black people. And so what we should be up in arms about is that there have been countless numbers of black people who have been discriminated against just because they're black. Chris, you and I know that sometimes even names, you hear about file 13. If somebody that's hiring who's predisposed to disregard black folks or other people of color, they'll look at their name and put it in file 13. So we can't put our heads in the sand and say that this is somehow reverse discrimination. It is not. Programs have to correct the wrongs that have happened generation after generation. We're going to have to use the court systems, as black people have had to use all along, to even get some of the gains that we have now. And we have got to have Congress people who understand that these types of initiatives are not against any other group. It is to correct, it is to make crooked paths straight. I am actually offended that President Donald J. Trump has decided to, as much as he said he want to stand up for working class people, now he's just going to carte blanche, put folks who work for the federal government, public servants themselves, and put them on leave. And then they probably, Chris, may not even get their jobs back. This is the wrong way to address this.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.